We discussed that, and he drafted it, yes.
Did anyone else direct Mr. Boyd to draft this response, or was it just you?
I think it would have been a direction from me.
Did you review the letter before it was sent?
Yes.
And you agree with what's laid out in the letter?
I think so.
So I'm going to now quote, I think it's in the third paragraph. It says, the Attorney General has directed senior federal prosecutors to evaluate certain issues raised in your letters. These senior prosecutors will report directly to the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General. When you say the Deputy Attorney General, you're referring to Mr. Rosenstein?
I'm impressed with Mr. Rosenstein. Yes, he's a friend.
So in this circumstance you contemplate where senior prosecutors are doing the analysis of the issues raised in Chairman Goodlatte's letter and then reporting back, do you contemplate by using the conjunction and that you and Mr. Rosenstein would be briefed simultaneously?
I would think so.
Who is the final decision maker, you or Mr. Rosenstein, on these matters?
I would make the final decision, I would assume, unless it implicates an issue that I'm not, that I'm recused in, or it'd be improper for me to be involved with.
And that goes to the very basis of my questions. I'm trying to find out, on the very issues raised in Chairman Goodlatte's letter, on the very issues referenced in this response, it is stated in this response that it is the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General that make a decision. So are you saying that it is the Attorney General, it is your decision that is dispositive on those matters?
Yes, unless there's a conflict or that I would make the decision, yes. But he would report to both offices.
Do you see such a conflict as we sit here now?
Well, some of the matters could implicate matters that Mr. Mueller has, for example, that I have recused myself from. Other matters.
Let's go, other than the matters that Mr. Mueller is dealing with, are there any other matters that you would see a circumstance where the issue's been raised in Chairman Goodlatte's letter where you would anticipate a recusal on your part?
I won't prejudge that, but it's possible.
Do you have the authority today, subject to your recusal, to appoint a special counsel to investigate the Uranium One matter?
I believe I do.
Do you have the authority to appoint a special counsel to investigate the Fusion GPS dossier?
I don't believe that I should be talking about and evaluating cases here today.
I'm not asking you to evaluate.
Well, you basically
I'm asking you to evaluate your authority to appoint a special counsel. Not that I don't want to know anything about the investigations. I don't even want to know if the investigations are happening or not happening.
So if I'm not recused, I have the authority, yes, and the duty and the responsibility to make that decision.
Okay. As it relates to Loretta Lynch using the pseudonym Elizabeth Carlisle, are you recused on that matter?
I don't think so. And
are you recused on the Fusion GPS matter?
There I go. I'm not able to comment about that, but I would say in defense of Attorney General Lynch, I use the same, I have a pseudonym also. I understand all cabinet officials do, and maybe some sub-cabinet officials do.
Well,
so she would probably have been following the advice of the Department of Justice. I'm just saying.
That's fine.
We have to be careful.
I'm no longer interested in that. So I just want to be clear that as it relates to the Uranium One matter, you do believe you have the authority to appoint a special counsel, and you do not believe that authority that you have is subject to any recusal at this time.
I cannot say that.
Time of the gentleman has expired. The chair recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Liu.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hello, Mr. Sessions.
Yes.
Donald Trump has asked various individuals to pledge an oath of loyalty to him. Did Donald Trump ever ask you to pledge an oath of loyalty to him?
No.
If Donald Trump were to ask you to pledge loyalty to him or to take such an oath, would you do so?
Well, I don't know what a pledge of a loyalty oath is. We all owe loyalty to our supervisors. I've always done that to my bosses and supervisors. So you know, people are expected to be loyal to their
correct
executive
answer is
branch
to
head. But if you're talking
Reclaiming
about
my
some
time.
sort of
Thank you.
improper loyalty oath that goes beyond a commitment to
Thank you, Mr. Sessions. Let's talk
following the
about
law,
your-
I have
Thank you,
not.
Mr. Sessions. Reclaim my time. Let's talk about your contacts with a foreign power. So last year, how many interactions did you have with Russian government official Sergei Kislyak? I just need a number. Is it 3?
Well, of all foreign officials or just,
Russian government official, Ambassador Sergei Kislyak, last year, how many interactions did you have with him?
I spoke at the Republican convention. I came off the platform and people were there and we chatted a moment, had an encounter. Couple months later, I believe in September, he asked for a meeting and I provided that. I met with over approximately 25 ambassadors last
you.
year.
So-
And I had that same day as, well, excuse me, go
Thank you,
ahead.
Mr. Sessions. Thank you.
Well,
As Attorney General, you have a security clearance, correct?
yes,
And to get that security clearance, you submitted a security clearance application, also known as an SF-86 form, correct?
that's correct.
I submitted such a form when I served on active duty in the U.S. Air Force. And the form requires you to certify under penalty of perjury that the information submitted was true, complete, and correct to the best of your knowledge. You certified your security clearance form, correct?
That is correct.
I'm going to, on the video screen, show you a question from that form. And it says, have you or any of your immediate family in the past 7 years had any contact with a foreign government, its establishment, such as embassy, consulate, agency, military service, intelligence, or security service, et cetera, or its representatives, whether inside or outside the U.S.? The answer that you gave was no. What you just told us under oath was exactly the opposite. So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Sessions, were you lying then when you filled out the form, or are you lying now?
What I was told by my executive assistant when we did this form earlier, and then again when I was nominated for Attorney General, that the FBI authority says members of Congress and effectively government officials meeting people on an official basis, you were not required to list all these contacts.
Nothing in that question says you get to answer any differently because you're a U.S. Senator rather than, say, a young police officer. Isn't that right?
Well,
Nothing in that question authorizes you to answer any differently. Isn't that right?
I would say that nobody at the FBI or any other place, to my knowledge, said you left that blank. Surely you've met with some foreign officials in the last 7 years. I've not had any private business dealings or any things of that nature. My contacts would be in the normal course of
Let me ask you about one of your
senatorial business.
Let me ask you about one of your interactions.
So I
with
thought that was a
Ambassador Kislyak.
reasonable answer.
You said under oath today that you had a meeting with Ambassador Kislyak of under an hour. That's pretty long. Was it more than 50 minutes?
I doubt it was 50 minutes, but it may have
45?
been 45, 50 minutes.
All right. Did you discuss
Ambassador of a-
campaign-related items such as Ukraine with the ambassador?
Well, that's not campaign related.
All right. I'm going to ask you two simple
Yes,
questions.
we did talk about Ukraine. We actually had an argument about the Ukraine because the day before, the Ukrainian ambassador was in my office making his case against Russia, and I raised those issues with Mr. Kislyak, and he was, as I referred to it, I think, the classic, we did nothing wrong. and
I'm glad you're very
Ukraine
animated
did everything
remembering that.
wrong. That was his
Let me
basis.
ask you two simple questions, because in a sense you've already answered it. You did have communications with the Russians last year, isn't that right?
Repeat that.
You did have communications with the Russians last year, isn't that right? Just yes or no?
I had a meeting with the Russian ambassador, yes.
That's exactly the opposite answer you gave under oath to U.S. Senate. So again, either you're lying to U.S. Senate or you're lying to U.S. House of Representatives.
Well, that's
see
not
that
The
fair.
time of the gentleman has expired. The witness can answer any further if he chooses to.
I won't repeat it, Mr. Chairman, but I hope the congressman knows, and I hope all of you know, that my answer to that question, I did not meet with the Russians, was explicitly responding to the shocking suggestion that I, as a surrogate, was meeting on a continuing basis with Russian officials, and the implication was to impact the campaign in some sort of nefarious way. And all I did was meet in my office with the ambassador, which we didn't discuss anything like that. So I just want to say I appreciate the Congressman's right. I guess he can say it's free speech. He can't be sued here. So that's just my response, and I'm sorry that that's my response.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Johnson, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Attorney General, thank you for your service to this country. Thank you for being here today. Much has been said in recent months about the aggressive agendas of hostile foreign actors to undermine our nation's democratic processes. We've talked a lot about it today. The American people are rightfully concerned about these subversive efforts because it seems to taint our public policy and our elections. That's at least the agenda that some have. And it's been almost 70 years since Congress first enacted the Foreign Agents Registration Act to limit and keep track of outside
Hey, what's up, everybody?
influences.
I just was watching this. I'll give you the reason why you're watching this. Is I'm watching it. Some people are asking if I'll be discussing it. I might be. It's important to know everything that's going on. So yeah, I'll probably be discussing it a little bit. Or maybe. Depends on how the other news lines up. I might have to make a short video here coming up about Ethereum and child pornography. Anyway, it may be boring to you, but it's good. It's information. So I broadcast information sometimes.
I followed that closely, and I do not have privy to the information, and it would be inappropriate, really, for me to express an opinion.
I accept that. The point is that a lot of these things have stayed below the radar because there's not been appropriate focus and attention on it, and the special investigation has brought that. And in the view of many of us, it's long overdue. There's historical evidence going back as far as the administration of George H.W. Bush, highlighting failed attempts to reform the law in this area. And this is despite repeated recommendations to develop a strategy integrated with the DOJ's overall national security efforts and similar calls for higher means of enforcement. But there's been no substantive action by any Congress over all that time, and there's been a sharp decline, a corresponding decline in compliance over the last 2 decades. So clearly, everybody can agree much has changed in the world since the FARA law first was enacted in 1938. Question is, would you agree to work with us, me, and this committee to correct these very serious problems so we can update our disclosure laws so that the American people can see what's going on behind the veil?
I would. I believe our professional staff who've been at this for some time have communicated with some senators who got ideas, and I probably have communicated with you, and I would be glad to continue that.
You have, and we appreciate it. Senator
We have taken some action. I think it's only 7 cases in what? Years, decades?
Yes, in decades.
So we brought one enforcement action against RT, Russian TV, I guess it is.
Right.
In effect, some part of that. And so it's a matter worth serious consideration. I thank you for giving it that.
Yes, sir. Senator Grassley and I have filed companion bills to clear up the ambiguities in the existing law and allow DOJ more oversight, so we do appreciate your attention. Another issue, on September 5th, I led a letter to your office with 17 other members from Louisiana and Texas requesting a thorough investigation of Planned Parenthood Gulf Coast actions, harvesting, transferring fetal tissue for financial gain. And I would ask, Mr. Chairman, for unanimous consent to enter a copy of that letter into the record.
Without objection, be made a part of the record.
Specifically, we requested that your office look into the congressional findings of the Select Investigative Panel on Infant Lives from last year. The panel stated that this was just one of 15 criminal and regulatory referrals made to various state and federal agencies, 4 of which were referred to the Justice Department. So the question is, do you have any updates on that today, on those issues or our request? And if not, could we get one of those soon?
I will review the letter. I do not have it at the top of my head, I'm sorry to say, but we'll look at it. And I believe the Congress, Mr. Chairman, and members here are entitled to a prompt response from the Attorney General and the Department of Justice. We've already reduced a backlog of some 400 letters by half.
Maybe I should try to
And
give you guys a highlight. I don't know. It's kind of boring.
My answers have not changed.
Hold on. Here's the summary from the Alex Jones channel. I'll give you guys that. Basically what he's being criticized for is here. I'll show you. This is what they're talking about right now.
It could have a very significant impact.
Hold on.
We have about 90%.
This is live, but this is the story. Let's see. Jeff Sessions displays unsteady recall on Trump-Russia matters. He says he doesn't recall a lot. This gives a summary of it. I don't recall Russia reports, but I shot down a Trump-Putin meeting. They ask him a lot about Papadopoulos, a lot of nothing burgers, but the news is saying that he's showing selective recall. Had no reason to doubt the women who made claims against Roy Moore, who now is being revealed to be a serial teenage. He used to hang out at the mall and pick up teenage girls. He's become a real problem. I'll cover more news later today. I think I might, since it's very boring. Here, I'll play what Alex Jones did as a recap. Since you guys are tuned in, I know it's just a few people.
My answers have not changed. I've always told the truth, and I have answered every question as I understood them to the best of my recollection, as I will continue to do today. But I will not accept and reject accusations that I have ever lied. That is a lie. Let me be clear. I have at all times conducted myself honorably and in a manner consistent with the high standards and responsibilities of the Office of Attorney General, which I revere. I spent 15 years in that department. I love that department. I honor that department and will do my dead level best to be worthy of your Attorney General.
I played too much
Ladies
Alex
and
Jones.
gentlemen, coming up, the accelerated breakup of the year.
I think that's, oh, there is going to be some.
I had no address.
Opening testimony.
I'd like to address the false charges made about my previous testimony. My answers have not changed. I've always told the truth, and I have answered every question as I understood them to the best of my recollection, as I will continue to do today. I would like to address recent news reports regarding meetings during the campaign attended by George Papadopoulos and Carter Page, among others. Frankly, I had no recollection of this meeting until I saw these news reports. I do now recall that the March 2016 meeting at the Trump Hotel that Mr. Papadopoulos attended, but I have no clear recollection of the details of what he said at that meeting. After reading his account and to the best of my recollection, I believe that I wanted to make clear to him that he was not authorized to represent the campaign with the Russian government or any other foreign government for that matter. But I did not recall this event, which occurred 18 months before my testimony of a few weeks ago. And I would gladly have reported it had I remembered it, because I pushed back against his suggestion that I thought may have been improper. As for Mr. Page, while I do not challenge his recollection, I have no memory of his presence at a dinner at the Capitol Hill Club or any passing conversation he may have had with me as he left the dinner. All you have been in campaigns, let me just suggest, but most of you have not participated in a presidential campaign, and none of you had a part in the Trump campaign. And it was a brilliant campaign, I think, in many ways, but it was a form of chaos every day from day one. We traveled sometimes to several places in one day. Sleep was in short supply, and I was still a full-time senator with a very full schedule. During this year, I've spent close to 20 hours testifying before Congress. Before today, I have been asked to remember details from a year ago, such as who I saw on what day, in what meeting, and who said what to when. In all of my testimony, I can only do my best to answer your questions as I understand them and to the best of my memory. But I will not accept and reject accusations that I have ever lied. That is a lie. Let me be clear. I have at all times conducted myself honorably and in a manner consistent with the high standards and responsibilities of the Office of Attorney General, which I revere. I spent 15 years in that department. I love that department. I honor that department and will do my dead level best to be worthy of your Attorney General. So as I said before, my story has never changed. I've always told the truth, and I've answered every question to the best of my recollection, and I will continue to do so today. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'm honored to take your questions.
Now, when you remember that just a few...
The record. Mr. Papadopoulos mentioned his outreach to the Russian government during that meeting, 2016 meeting of the National Security Advisory Committee.
I did chair that meeting.
Thank you. Did Mr. Yes or no? Did Mr. Papadopoulos mention his outreach to the Russian government during that meeting?
He made some comment to that effect,
Yes.
as I remember
I
after
don't have
having
to-
read it
answer
in the
yes or-
newspaper.
I asked for yes or no. I don't have time.
Yes, all right.
I cannot imagine your memory would fail you so much. But moving on, do you want to admit under oath that you did not tell the truth or misrepresented, or do you want to correct your testimony right now?
So did he clarify those previous comments that he made under oath, Jonah?
I'm sure the Democrats will think not. I think that his supporters will think probably. I'm sort of in the gray area about all this. I think he got himself into some trouble way back when by...
Okay, let's stop right there. You want to know why I'm...
Okay. All right. I'll give you guys the other breaking news since you're here. There's a shooting in California at a school right here. But I can't get the live video because I don't, because I guess my browsers don't support Flash, and these guys run it on Flash. Oh, this is the live TV of it, which I can't show you, which probably makes you upset. Mass shooting. Let's see. Now they say 3 are dead. At first, this is about Las Vegas. So here, update, 2 p.m. Authorities are investigating 5 crime scenes after the shooter started his rampage at a home and moved to the school. The shooter stole his... a witness told KCRA Action News, maybe I can find it, that the shooter stole his truck and then shot and killed his roommate. He's dead. He didn't make it. Brian Flint told Action News Now. For his family and everything, I feel bad and will be there for them. 3 people were killed, including the shooter, at a Northern California school early in the school day Tuesday. Witnesses say the gunman shot through classroom windows, injuring a young boy who was struck in the foot and chest. It's unclear whether the shooter entered the school. Parent Coy Ferreira told the radio outlet he was dropping off his daughter, at the school Tuesday morning when shots rang out. Ferreira said he ran into a classroom when he heard shots coming through the classroom windows. 4 people were transported to the hospital, including 3 children and 1 adult. Officials have yet to confirm the conditions of the victims. WDSU reported that a 6-year-old and 1 other child were injured in the fusillade, which witnesses said was close to 100 rounds. 100 rounds? Doesn't sound right. All right. Well, we'll have to play the stuff. Should I change the title of my thing? I don't know how long I'll be going over it. Okay. I'll change the title of my thing. And then I'll try to find video on it. Just since I'm already live. Okay. Okay. I'll see what I can find. We'll see if people will probably be trying to tune in. 100 shots through the windows. Here's a tweet from somebody. My mom just called me and there was a shooting at my little brother's school. 2 little kids have been shot. The numbers are different everywhere, by the way. I have to find the other numbers. One of them said that 4 were taken to one hospital and 3 to another. And this one only says 4 were wounded and 3 were dead. I have to find these. I'll play this here. At least 3 dead in shooting in Tahoma County. It started at a home and moved to a school. Okay, let's see what this guy says.
I don't know what time the call came in. It was right about.
Sorry, I'll give you some volume.
We had multiple shots fired in Rancho. I don't know what time.
I got to see if I can get their scanner. I wonder if they even have it online. Okay. Shooting at a California school, Northern California school. False
I don't know what time
flag?
the call came in. It was right about 8 a.m. We had multiple shots fired in Rancho Tehama. That evolved to multiple victims and multiple shots at the school, the elementary school. I am told at this point the suspected shooter is deceased by law enforcement bullets. That's what I'm told. I don't have a list of victims. I don't know how many victims. I know of at least 3 deaths. I don't know any information at this time about any of the victims at the school. I know that we have medevaced a number of students. I know that the school has been cleared. I know that we have the children that were attending school in a safe location at this time. That is, you now know really what I know. Okay? We have about 100 law enforcement personnel in Rancho Tehama right now with multiple scenes. I can think of at least 5 scenes that I've been told about. So we are spread thin, but we have a lot of resources right now, and you can see that we're still requesting ambulances and we're still doing our work. That's the only information I have.
Okay. From ABC News, breaking now we have 5 fatalities, none at the school, apparently. 7 different crime scenes. At least 5 dead in shooting near Northern California Elementary School. Let me see. I'll see if I can find a feed on it. The numbers, like I said, are changing. And I guess not everything happened at the school. You have 3 or 4 wounded, I guess. The shootings took place in 7 locations, including an elementary school. The dead included the shooter who was killed by police. Several students at the elementary school were hospitalized, according to police. No deaths were reported at the school, a senior official said. One father told ABC they're up near Redding, California affiliate KRCR-TV, he was dropping off his daughter for kindergarten at the Rancho Tehama school when he heard what sounded like a firecracker. I've heard that before. A school employee ran out and yelled for the children to get inside the classrooms because someone was shooting at the school. All right, let me see if I can get that interview for everybody. That's a photo. 100 cops. It's crazy. Oh, do they not have, they don't have video. I really like to see, I really like to have multimedia for this. Let me see if anybody's feeding it on YouTube yet, besides me. Northern California shooting. Let's see. Here, Right Side Broadcasting Network has it. And I'm covering it too. The only difference is 1,000 people are watching the other one. Maybe we'll get more people tuned in though.
Shootings that happened in Northern California today. 1 shooter, 7 different shooting locations.
Oh, he's just talking. Okay. He's doing the same thing I'm doing. All right, we'll get the timeline. Johnson said calls came in at 7:52 a.m. about a shooting on Bobcat Lane. Following these calls, more calls came in of multiple shooting sites, including the school. Johnson said it was clear early on that they had a subject that was randomly picking targets. Oh, I have to change my title over here. A subject that was randomly picking targets. Hold on. I just have to change my Northern California school shooting. Okay. I don't know if this is going to make the... I assume the real news channels will be up on this soon too. So maybe we can play that. Rancho Tehama. I'm going to look for any radio I can find, any radio traffic I can find on it too. Calls came in at 7:52 a.m. Okay. We'll see if we can find any police radio archives. I don't know what county it's in. Tehama? Sorry. Tehama. Oh, I want to take you to Bermuda, Bahamas. Come on, pretty mama. Okay, let's see. I took it one line too far, didn't I? Tehama. Okay, here we go. I'm looking for feeds. Do you guys want to see me do that? Feeds for Tehama County. No feeds available, I figured. Okay. So they mostly have the story about the school, but police said today's incident spanned over other shooting scenes near the school involving multiple victims and that 3 deaths, including the shooter, stemmed from the shootings. Additional details about the shooting scenes were not immediately available. Now they're saying at least 5 dead, at least 5, at least 7 shooting locations. Apparently a random shooting spree. They get us used to believing that random shooting sprees are possible, or that, likely, or that they happen at all. I've looked into a lot of random shooting events. I haven't really found any evidence that they exist, I have to say. We have a random shooter. We have a guy randomly killing people in Florida, too, right now. People are scared. People are staying in their houses. Lots of little stuff, huh? Lots of little stuff make you scared. Enloe Hospital, here we go. But police said today's incident spanned other shooting scenes near the school involving multiple victims and that 3 deaths, including the shooter, stemmed from the shootings. Additional details about the shooting scenes were not immediately available. Police said a number of students were taken to the hospital. Enloe Hospital has received 4 patients, 3 students and 1 adult, all in unknown conditions. Mercy Dignity Health is treating 3 patients. And about 100 students attend the school. Apparently random shooting spree. And then at the same time, you have this other thing going on. 4th person slain in Tampa neighborhood amid search for apparent serial killer. This has got to stop. This is a guy, this story says, man, killed in cold blood, was shot from behind in a case that authorities may be related to a string of unsolved slayings that has left the community on edge. And they have a suspect, or they've seen the guy. Someone came up from behind him and shot him, he says. Slim black man, 6 foot to 6'2", light complexion, armed with a large black pistol. Killed 4 people in this little town in Florida. What? Tampa, Florida neighborhood. So that also is going on. The breaking news is that at least 5 are dead in this elementary school shooting. I wish I had... they don't put flash on computers now anymore, huh? Let's see if this is live or anything. Buffering. I'm not near the scene. Miss balloons. Although there are 7 crime scenes. Hard to say what's real. I'm trying to see if this video is going to be like live video. Then I can give you guys something. Or something. Something's trying to start. This is before my live show. Well, theoretically, my live show. I have another video I want to make, but this is breaking news. I'll see if I can get you guys a feed on it. I wonder if any of the, I bet, let's see, NBC Live. They're showing the Attorney General. Let's see if they're still showing the Attorney General
Of our government.
Yeah, they still are. That's the thing I was playing earlier. I look on CNN. They jump on news like this. CNN Live.
Their
It's still all Sessions, everybody, on the main TV. I'm trying to get video to load up here. I'll see what's playing on. I think it's just that other channel covering it live. Northern California shooting. Let's see. Yeah, multiple dead and wounded. Right Side Broadcasting Network. I don't have a screenshot for it. Let's see.
That's what she said in this report, that he had
it's just him talking about it. It's just him talking about it. Well, we'll see when it comes up. I'll check if Fox News has it. Fox News Live. Still all Jeff Sessions, everybody. Everybody's broadcasting the Jeff Sessions hearing, which I was broadcasting, and which I could go back to broadcasting while we wait for news to come in on this. It says buffering. I wonder if anybody has it. These guys have a video. Or no, not these guys. Newsweek, fatal mass shooting, live updates. That's Vegas. Janine Quist, Corning Union Elementary School District spokeswoman, told KABC that a number of students were wounded, but no one was killed at Rancho Tehama School. That's the same story. A witness. Okay, let's see if I can find this. Give me some video for F's sake. I need multimedia to keep people tuned in. 4 dead here. Shooter killed near Tehama County School. Children hospitalized. At least 4 people were killed in a shooting Tuesday morning that started at a home and moved to an elementary school. Shooter was killed by law enforcement. Multiple shots were fired about 8 a.m. at Rancho Tehama School. 1 student was shot and taken to a hospital. A second child and the woman were also shot inside a truck, Johnston said. So far, 3 people were taken by ground ambulance and a 4th was airlifted to Enloe Medical School in Chico. 3 of them were children and 1 was an adult. Conditions of the hospitalized have not been released. We know we have airlifted a number of students. I know that the school's been cleared. I know that we have children that were attending the school in a safe location at this time. I think that video is here. I'll play it again for people who are tuning in.
I don't know what time the call came in. It was right about 8 a.m. We had multiple shots fired in Rancho Tehama. That evolved to multiple victims and multiple shots at the school, the elementary school. I am told at this point the suspected shooter is deceased by law enforcement bullets. That's what I'm told. I don't have a list of victims. What? I don't know how many victims.
No, this isn't a serious
I know of at least 3 deaths.
5 dead.
I don't know any information at this time about any of the victims at the school. I know that we have medevaced a number of students. I know that the school has been cleared. I know that we have the children that were attending school in a safe location at this time. That is, you now know really what I know. Okay? We have about 100 law enforcement personnel in Rancho Tehama right now with multiple scenes. I can think of at least 5 scenes that I've been told about. So we are spread thin, but we have a lot of resources right now, and you can see that we're still requesting ambulances and we're still doing our work. That's the only information I have.
Okay, well, that's the video. That's the multimedia on it right now. I think we're waiting for it to develop a little bit more. I'll go on Twitter and see if anything's happening on that. Everybody's still talking about Jeff Sessions. Let's see. What should I put up? Shooting? I don't know. Okay, here. Daily Mail. Wonder if anybody's streaming on it. NBC News. No. Some are reporting 4, some are reporting 5, some are still reporting 3. Randomly picking targets. See, fired shots at 7 shooting locations in the area. You guys think this is going to become big news? I guess I could. Oh, shit. Nobody's tuned in. I probably can't get phone calls. Oh, sorry. You're watching me. Trying to fix my lint roller because Doshi was in my lap. There. There. There, I fixed it. I wonder if anybody has any inside info. I might have to play Jeff Sessions. Here, I'll look at the chat and see what's going on. How's everything looking up here, okay? I'll look at the chat and see what's going on. Somebody says a GoFundMe already went up yesterday. Somebody has to see that. There can't be a GoFundMe yet. GoFundMe, Rancho, Tahama. Come on, pretty mama. No, nothing yet. I don't see anything. I don't see anything yet. Somebody in the thing. Oh, yeah, it was a joke. It was funny. Should I turn on some lights? I don't have my regular outfit on for the show, just because I was just streaming the Sessions thing. Should I open the phone, see if, does anybody really want to talk about this? I guess. If anybody wants to, they can call. So far, nothing in the mainstream news. We're waiting to get tuned into the mainstream news to find out about this. It sounds fascinating that 5 people have been randomly selected, a random shooter. 7 shooting scenes in a small town in California. You want to see where it is on a map? I could show you. Oh, I could read to you something about Twitch too while we fill time. Oh, what was it? Oh, wow. Somebody's calling. Maybe they have advice for me. This is Nathan.
Hey, Nathan. Red Foreman, a.k.a. Food King Gray.
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for calling.
Hey, how's it going, dude?
Going great.
Cool. Wow, man. Isn't this kind of ironic or just coincidental that this is happening during the session?
That is weird. It's weird they haven't broken away from it. It is a little weird. Do you think there's some kind of agenda there?
I mean, the fact that they haven't broken into that yet, well, are they unprepared maybe? Did the timing not happen right? I mean, we need to find out some more details on the shooting, right?
Yeah, it happened about 4 hours ago. So
you think 4 hours would be enough, right?
You would think so. You would think they'd be reporting on it. It seems like a big story. It seems like another mass shooting to me.
Right. Anytime there's children involved, especially at school, at elementary school, you know, this is reminiscent of Sandy Hook, right?
Well, I mean, in the fact that it's in an elementary school, yeah. I mean, that makes it reminiscent of Sandy Hook, except this guy apparently was shooting into the windows of the school. I mean, I'm just showing everybody where it is. So it is reminiscent in that way. I think the shooting at the church is more reminiscent of it from what we know about it so far.
Right, yeah, I remember the shooting there at the church, and I have yet to look into that a little more further. But do you think that that the church shooting was more of a staging event?
Was more of a what kind of event?
A staged event?
Oh, staged. There's some problems with it. Like the shooter left his car one place and then all of a sudden his truck was in front of the school waiting for his getaway. That was kind of suspicious. And it's kind of suspicious that many people supposedly died. I don't have my background right either. It's suspicious that many people died to me, especially since the church apparently only had 40 congregants normally, and like 46 people got shot. So that's suspicious to me with that shooting. Yeah, and the people that came out and gave interviews afterwards are pretty weird.
Are you going to do more on that church thing?
I'm going to do more if more information comes out. I've been kind of playing a lot of the stuff from the different people who gave interviews. I did go through those. I could do that more. I could recover that stuff because the people who gave interviews afterwards are pretty weird people. I could play that now while I'm just live streaming, waiting for people to come on with this school shooting.
I haven't heard anything more, and I didn't really look into it more since that was first reported. That day I called in, and I gave my first initial reactions that I thought maybe that was a real event.
Yeah, you thought it might be real, right?
Changed, yeah, I'd like to know.
Yeah, right. Well, I think it. Well, I have my reasons to believe that there are some questions about it, mostly due to the interviews of the witnesses or victims of the supposed thing. Just seemed bizarre, and the numbers seemed pretty high. I mean, he was in there for 13 minutes, supposedly, after he, ran across the street from the gas station, all dressed in black, wearing a bulletproof vest, carrying a rifle, shot at the church from the outside, and then went inside and spent like 13 minutes in there shooting everybody.
That is really suspect. I mean, it's really nice that he dressed the part. Dressed in black.
Always.
If you're going to shoot a bunch of people up, you want to look like an agent of some sort.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, that seems to be the MO at least. Here, I'm going to use this picture.
Black, they're going to kill a bunch of people. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I have here. I have some video. All right, I'm going to play this video. You can hold on.
I'll hang out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll hang out.
You're going to hang out. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me. I have to turn up the volume though somehow. Oh, okay. So you can't talk because it'll be too loud. Okay. All right.
Police department.
Okay.
The investigators included are shooters believed to be deceased at the scene. We have initiated the officer incident shooting protocol. That is being headed up by Lieutenant Matt Hansen of the Red Bluff Police Department. The investigators included are from the district.
That's it. Hold on one sec.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. That's all I had on it. You know what? While we're waiting, I can play some of the victim testimony. I just closed some of it today. I had a bunch of it loaded up actually. Maybe I'll go back and find the tabs that I had closed, and I can play those for people who are waiting to get more information on this shooting, because it is kind of important stuff. So yeah, I'll play some of that victim testimony.
Yeah, that's going to be an important part of looking for clues, right? I mean, the victim's testimony usually finds a lot of flaws.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and there are a number of things about that shooting that are bizarre. Mostly, though, for me, it's the numbers, and it's always the numbers. It always seems like too many.
Numbers,
yeah. So I'll go over that.
There was this kind of, so far, initial reaction again. This reminds me of the Kalamazoo shooting. Did you ever cover that, by the way?
No, I didn't cover. Remind us about what the Kalamazoo shooting was all about.
Yeah, okay. I happened to be in that town at the time doing some electrical work, just coincidentally. And I remember sitting at the bar on the main drag there, and all the cop cars and
You were in
ambulances.
Kalamazoo, you said? You were there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, I was there.
Okay.
And my buddy and I, my electrical partner and I, we were sitting at a bar, eating dinner after work and all that stuff. This happened around, I think, 7 or 8 p.m. February of last year, or this year.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the ambulance and all that stuff in the highways, close by where we were sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And we just dismissed it as probably, some major accident on the highway. So we got back to our apartments at around 10 p.m. and turned on the news and saw what had actually happened. So since I was there for the next few days, and I was keenly aware of false flags, I was like, wow, they're not pulling no false flag or hoax underneath my nose. I want to go check out the crime scenes myself. And so I did. Unfortunately, I took pictures with a phone that had consequently fell into some water, and I don't have any pictures of that anymore, but the pictures are still available online. This was a real event in my mind.
The one in Kalamazoo? Yeah, I don't know enough to speak about that.
Right. And being that I'm up on the hoaxes and stuff, I was keenly aware of the possibility that they're trying to pull something underneath my nose. The story itself was pretty fishy, so I agree, I'll admit that it was suspect from the get-go. But I took pictures of one of the crime scenes, actually two of them. The place where he shot at the woman, shot and hit the woman. She lived, a black woman, out front of her apartment building. The bullet holes were there on the side of the building. I saw them, those kind of things. Then I went to the Cracker Barrel restaurant, and they had it all cordoned off. I couldn't get close enough to take pictures of that crime scene, but I was there, and I did see the cordoned off and stuff like that. But some things are real and some things are fake. So we have to, like I said before, we have to get these things right.
Right. Well, we're not going to jump to any conclusions on this one. I'm just going to ask questions right away. I think it's weird when people supposedly randomly kill people, and we have that happening supposedly in Tampa too. But it all could be real. It's just that a lot of them aren't. So it's so it's important to.
Yeah. We have to. We have to ask questions, like you said. I mean, we don't have to jump to any conclusions. We can ask questions, and if there are flaws or questions unanswered, those are things we need to have answers for.
Right, exactly. So anyway, I'll play a few of the witnesses to the shooting or survivors to the shooting, so people can determine what they think. And I think that's about it. I think the guy was in a motorcycle gang too. He was in a motorcycle club, the head of the church, the pastor or whatever, which is interesting because motorcycle gangs or motorcycle clubs are kind of like secret societies. So,
yeah, you're right. In a way they are. And with the church shooting, it seems like there was his ex-wife, or was going to be his ex-wife, was a parishioner?
His ex-wife's family, I believe. Yeah. So it was pretty bizarre. Okay, I have that interview too. That's great. Okay, great. All right. I think that's, I'm going to go back and play some of this stuff and then see if anybody starts covering this thing.
All right, thanks for taking my call. I'll talk to you later.
All right, cool. See you, Red Foreman. Okay. I'll play you guys this. Let's see. Is this 17 minutes? Let's see.
Confirm at this point.
This is Sutherland Springs.
26 deceased, 23 in the church, 2 outside the church, and 1 at the hospital. The total wounded include, the total number is 20, There are 6 in stable condition or have been released. There are 4 in serious condition and 10 that remain in critical condition, so this number could rise. We ask that everyone keep them in your thoughts and prayers.
I'm showing
the victims will be released
Sutherland
as soon as all of
Springs
the next of kin
shooting right now while we wait for something to come up on. So far, right now,
suspect we can confirm is Devin Patrick Kelly.
so far right now, the major news networks are still covering Jeff Sessions. That's it. They're not showing anything about the California shooting.
Will be determined by pathologists during the autopsy.
5 dead and
However, investigators found evidence at the scene that indicates the subject may have died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. We can tell you, as in with all active shooter situations, the #1 goal of law enforcement is to neutralize the shooter. In this situation,
This
we
is
had 2 Good
17
Samaritans
minutes.
that did that for law enforcement. This call went out as an active shooter call. Law enforcement was responding, but we know that a local resident that lives across the street from the church heard what was going on. He armed himself with an AR assault rifle and engaged the suspect. They engaged in gunfire here at the church. We know that the suspect was shot when he dropped his assault rifle, jumped in his Ford Expedition and fled the scene. This Good Samaritan, our Texas hero, flagged down another young man from Seguin, Texas, and jumped in his vehicle, and they pursued the suspect.
That was the guy.
Pursuit, the suspect used his cell phone to notify his father that he had been shot and didn't think he was going to make it. Subsequently, he shot himself, and so as I said, the pathologist will determine the cause and manner of his death. We can confirm
Let me just try to skip.
subject's
Let me just skip this because it's pretty boring, and it already happened.
Right now.
Oh, he spoke again. Great. Gosh, I do want to hear what these people said. I never
his,
did.
Purchase of the firearms. We can
I'm
answer what we
curious.
can,
Hold on.
But to start off with, I think we're going to go to the special agent in charge of ATF to answer questions that he can answer. His assistance to this investigation, the suspect, and his purchase of the firearms.
Good morning. My name is Fred Milanowski. It's Milanowski. I'm the special agent in charge of ATF's Houston Field Division. First and foremost, our hearts go out to the citizens of this community and the victims' families. I mean, it is obviously tragic for all of us.
Oh, I have no idea where that.
And they're not gone.
I have no idea where that
Their
music's
last
coming
breath
from.
here, their next breath was in
God darn it!
So they're with the Lord Himself.
It's not showing me. It's supposed to show you where it's playing
Whenever
from.
I get to see them, and
Oh,
I'll
this
start
is gonna make
hugging
me
them,
insane.
Then I'll know it'll hit me that it's real, that it really did happen.
It's supposed to show
And
me
it-
an icon on the
It
fucking.
can happen anywhere.
Oh my God! I swear to God.
We lost someone, and we lost a sister to us, which was Annabelle, you know. And attending the church was like I said, as a family.
Oh my God.
We're
oh my
on
God.
time of mourning right now, and we
Please.
we just need to love on each other right now. That's what we need.
We just pray that you continue to bless this church and this community.
Come on. I swear to God. Oh, here it is. God, I fucking hate autoplay. Jesus F.
My mom.
God damn it. Okay. Man.
What I can confirm, there was 3 firearms that had been recovered. One was the Ruger 5.56 rifle that was recovered at the scene of the church. 2 additional handguns were recovered from the vehicle of the deceased suspect. One was a Glock 9mm, and one was a Ruger 22.
All right.
I also can
Gosh,
confirm.
it is boring. Okay,
listen,
I got to hear the
Sheriff,
sheriff.
Sheriff.
Here we go. This guy was pretty bad at the original press
I think I
conference.
spoke to most of you this morning.
Sheriff of the town of like 500 people, where 26 just died. He would have known him personally.
Some things have changed since early morning when I spoke to you, and we will be getting back with y'all later. And if you need to try to contact me, I think most of you did get my telephone number. Right now, our hearts are going out to all the family members that have lost family or have family in the hospital. Thank y'all.
That's his whole statement.
Next, we'll
It's
have
great.
the FBI special agent in charge, Chris Combs.
Oh, boy.
Good morning, I'm Christopher Combs. I'm the FBI Special Agent in charge. First of all, our condolences to this community on this horrific act. We're here with our partners, the DPS and the Rangers, who we work with every day in support of them, assisting them in any way that we can. Right now, we're providing some of the evidence teams in support and also some technical support with phones, video that we talked about, going back to our lab at Quantico. So we are here in support of Texas DPS, and we will be here with them as long as they need. Thank you.
I'll play you guys some.
And one thing everybody
witness
wants to know is
testimony.
why did this happen? It's a senseless crime, but we can tell you that there was a domestic situation going on within this family. The suspect's mother-in-law attended this church. We know that he had made threatening texts from him, and we can't go into details about that domestic situation that is continuing to be vetted and thoroughly investigated. But we want to get that out there, that this was not racially motivated. It wasn't over religious beliefs. There was a domestic situation going on within the family and the in-laws. And next, the Wilson County District Attorney, Aubrey Lewis, would like to say something.
Thank you. Good morning. We've learned this morning just how small town America truly is. We've had a tremendous outpouring across the country for people wanting to assist our families in need. And I want to make sure that everyone knows how they can help, because everyone can help. You can help by praying for these families and their loved ones, first and foremost, and everyone can do that. The other thing is you can help these families financially. And so we are working and in the process of setting up 2 bank accounts. The Sutherland Springs Community Association has a bank account through Commerce Bank in Stockdale that will be accepting monetary donations on behalf of the families.
Look at that.
In addition to that, Wells Fargo will have an account as
There
well
we
set
go.
up for the victims of Sutherland Springs. And so that will be available for anyone to help. What we do not need at this point are canned goods and non-perishable items for the families. If you want a way to help, it's through prayer and it's through financial donations. And so we appreciate you guys sharing that information, and we are very grateful for this country and the just tremendous outpouring of support that these families are starting to receive. And we want to make sure that everybody knows how they can help. So thank y'all very much.
We're reviewing. That was great. She talked about right away how to financially support people. That accounts were set up immediately. She's wearing some kind of a neck brace under a scarf, trying to hide the fact that she's wearing a neck brace, I guess. We're reviewing the Sutherland Springs shooting in light of reviewing this shooting in Northern California, since they might be related. There's also a guy going on a shooting spree in Tampa right now. They've turned up the fear threshold. I'm going to show you some stuff about Devin Kelly. And I think there's some information about that so-called hero who was chewing the straw during his interview. Let me see. Oh, that's this guy. I need to get his the video of him. He's different. Langendorf. I'll get a video of him too. I'm getting the video of everything. It was good to hear that woman talk about fundraising right away. Okay, right now on, let's see if I have it up. Right now on Fox News, for example, that's what's showing. If I go to CNN Live, I'm waiting for the first stream to come up with, no, nothing. It's not even in the scroll. I don't know if they're just waiting to have more info on it or what. NBC Live. It's still Jeff Sessions, which is what I was showing to begin with. Nothing. People haven't even heard about this thing yet. Otherwise, more people would probably be tuned in. Okay, so I'm going over Sutherland Springs is the thing, and I'm going to show you guys some of the witnesses, what some people might call crisis actors. We can say what we want to on this show. Since I'm going to delete it after it's over, I should show you guys where Twitch is. It'll be on Twitch after the fact. Some people did get banned from Twitch, but I can show you that news if I have time. I'm just kind of streaming this in case the news catches on. Do you guys think it'll catch on? I'll ask.
Also with us today,
chat.
we have 2 Texas Ranger Majors, Corey Lane and Brian Brzezinski, who are the incident commanders for the investigation. So we will try to answer any of your questions you have at this time. Of course, the video will assist in the investigation, and you know, it was a horrific event, and at this time, we're not prepared to talk about the video.
Apparently, there's a video of the whole shooting where the guy spent 13 minutes in there. There's because they were recording it for the church.
Back up a little bit and give us a description of the reports that he was at the gas station, walked up right behind where you gentlemen were standing. Could you give us a...
We know he was seen at the Valero. He was obviously suspicious to others based on the way he was dressed in all black. At that time, I'm not sure if he had the mask on or not, but he was wearing a black mask that had a white skull face to it. Then he drove across to the church, and that's when he exited the vehicle and started the shooting. He was wearing a ballistic vest with a plate on the front. There was no plate on the back, but he was wearing a ballistic vest, yes. At this time, I cannot. We know that he expressed anger towards his mother-in-law, who attends this church.
Do we know if she reported it to the authorities before?
We don't.
I'm trying to figure out where the Valero is compared to the church.
One more question. The University Hospital suspect would have continued to engage people inside the church and outside of it, not been with the Americans.
We can only speculate, but
4th Street. There. Oh, wow. So apparently he was spotted over here at the SS stop and ran all the way to First Baptist Church. And then he supposedly jumped in his car.
No,
doesn't
at this
make
time,
much
we do
sense.
not have a terrorism
Really, it
investigation
doesn't.
open. The Rangers are the lead. They have the investigation, and we're supporting them. Chris Combs with FBI.
So what we know is that he bought 4 weapons in total. 2 of them were bought in Colorado. 2 of them were bought here in Texas. There was there's 1 purchase per year in 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
The question is, describe what happened inside the church.
She's saying describe what happened inside the church. Just listening to this in case you haven't had a chance.
Without getting into too much detail, the subject, it was there was some length of time that the subject spent inside that church in a shooting event. He moved around freely inside the church, but I'm not going to get into his exact dynamics within the church.
Has the pastor and his wife returned from the out-of-town trip yet? Has the pastor and his wife returned from the out-of-town trip? Are they on scene?
Yes, the pastor has returned.
Can you describe kind of what they're going through right now?
I can only imagine what he's going through.
How many of the victims are minors?
We don't have all the information. There are several that obviously they're children, their exact ages. Yesterday, we released information that the ages ranged from 5 to 73. Those were the ones being treated at the hospital. Inside the church, the deceased actually ranged from 18 months to 77 years of age.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will tweet. Follow us on Twitter, please. And we will tweet something as well. We plan on having a press briefing around 7 o'clock this afternoon for remaining questions, okay?
With point of clarification, there's 3 Academy stores in San Antonio. Do you know which ones the weapons were purchased at?
We're not going to release that information.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for coming. Again, we will brief y'all at 7 p.m.
My name's Freeman Martin, F-R-E-E-M-A-N, Martin, M-A-R-T-I-N. Hey, and with that, y'all, we would like to close in prayer.
How y'all doing? I'm Pastor Demas, and the church is grieving. The body of Christ across this world is grieving, but we're resilient, we're strong, and we're going to continue to worship God no matter what happens, no matter what attacks come. And that's a part of our faith. Our Savior, Jesus, God. Pray this, God bless you all.
I think these guys,
the investigators say
they're just standing there. Okay. Well, then I have them right here.
My wife put together something this morning on the on her Facebook page that I thought eloquently grabbed exactly what we were thinking. We've had a long night with our children and grandbabies we have left. And she's going to share this with you.
Frank and I want to say thank you to all the outpouring of love for our family, from family, friends, and complete strangers. I especially wanted to say thank you to American Airlines, who took great care of me all the way from Florida, and my angel flight buddy, Chris, wherever you are. News media have been bombarding us with requests to share and comment and appear to celebrate Annabelle's life. However, as much tragedy as that entails for our family, we don't want to overshadow the other lives lost yesterday. We lost more than Belle yesterday. And one thing that gives me a sliver of encouragement is the fact that Belle was surrounded yesterday by her church family that she loved fiercely, and vice versa. Our church was not comprised of members or parishioners. We were a very close family. We ate together, we laughed together, we cried together, and we worshiped together. Now most of our church family is gone. Our building is probably beyond repair. And the few of us that are left behind lost tragically yesterday. As senseless as this tragedy was, our sweet Belle would not have been able to deal with losing so much family yesterday. Please don't forget Sutherland Springs. Thank you.
And as the other pastor said, lift his name in Christ. Everything's in Christ.
Okay, that was the parents and the pastor of the slain 14-year-old, their daughter. These were some other shooting victims that lived through it. We're waiting to cover the Rancho Tehama shooting. I already summarized it. They're saying the story is right now that it's 5 dead, several wounded, 7 scenes. Let's see. This is the latest. At least 5 dead in an apparent random shooting spree. Northern California school, Rancho Tehama school. None of the children are dead. The shooter is dead. Was killed by the police, apparently. And again, there are 7 scenes. And so far, this is, let's see. This is what's live on NBC News still, is the Jeff Sessions hearing. Maybe I'll tune into that for
met
a
with the
second.
Russian
Gomert's.
ambassador, and then also this
talking.
article from June 26 regarding Senator McCaskill's tweet that she got no call or meeting with Russian ambassador ever, And then it turns out, the article points out, actually she met with the Russian ambassador at his home, and I would like those in the record.
Without objection. And now the gentleman from Georgia is recognized for 5 minutes. So sorry you snuck up on me there.
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've been in that other little
This
thing
is
we got
what's
going on
live.
tax reform. Getting ready to
This
do
is
that
what's
now.
live on.
Attorney General Sessions.
I'm not going to play it right now. I'm going over the Sutherland Springs shooting and why it might not be, why it might be another Sandy Hook. Not as much news on this as Sandy Hook. Let me go to the right thing. These are some more alleged victims of the shooting that lived through it while watching everybody die around them. 26 deceased, I believe, all declared at the scene, similar to Sandy Hook. All declared dead at the scene. 20 wounded. And then you do have someone saying that there were only 40 parishioners at the church. A number of people saying they regularly attend, but decided fortuitously to take the day off. Anyway, these are two more of the victims from that shooting, alleged victims of the alleged shooting.
Released from the hospital this afternoon.
They got through the nightmare huddled together praying until eventually the hail of bullets finally stopped. The night team's Patty Santos is live with their story. Patty?
Yeah, the couple was sitting near the entrance of the church. She was shot in the arm. He was hit by shrapnel, and they survived by playing dead, huddled on the ground. Joaquin Ramirez and his wife, Roseanne Solis, say
She was shot in the arm. She just has a little bandage. And he was apparently hit by shrapnel, which I don't see as injury at all.
they were still in the worship part of service when the shot started.
All of a sudden I hear like firecrackers popping. Ta 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 ta.
A warning cry came from outside.
Everybody get down, they're shooting at us.
That's when the storm of bullets began.
Everybody started screaming, yelling. Everybody got down, crawling under, wherever they could hide. It was so scary, and that man was shooting. He was shooting hard.
Solis was hurt.
And I could feel.
He was shooting hard. He was shooting. He was shooting hard.
It was so scary, and that man was shooting. He was shooting hard.
Solis was hurt.
And I could feel the gunshots. I saw them on the carpet because they have carpet in there. I could see the gunshots, coming down.
They saw people falling left and right, shot, bloodied, and in shock. Babies cried out. The shooting stopped, but only for a second.
I thought it was the police when I saw the feed because everybody got real quiet. And be quiet. Everybody was saying, be quiet. It's him, it's him.
Then it started again as the gunman yelled out.
Everybody dead.
In the hail of fire and smoke, Ramirez crawled out to call for help, but not before seeing the gunman go aisle to aisle looking for survivors.
Los babies lloraban, y cuando lloraban los babies, abajo.
He says he saw the gunman find the crying babies and shot them point blank. When it finally ended, their eyes could not believe the carnage.
The Lord saved me, because I know it was my last day.
This is such a horrific story, worse than Sandy Hook, really. Hasn't really received the news coverage you would expect for the fact that he went around executing babies. And there was an unborn child that apparently died also. So the victims, it's a really heart-wrenching story, and my heart goes out to all the victims of the story, whoever they might be. Let's see, I have one more. There is a shooting right now that just happened, but there's no new news on it. Now I'm waiting for news to come on. I'm monitoring the news though while this happens, so that we'll get the live feed whenever CNN or NBC or Fox decide to go to it. In the meantime, was the Sutherland Springs shooting real? And what is the agenda if it wasn't? Oh, I opened the phone. Somebody had just tried to call in. So if you're trying to call in, you know the number, you can call in. Maybe give me some tips as to what's going on. That's 650-GAY-TAXI, 650-429, 8294. This is going to be one of the unbelievable victims, or She lost 2 grandchildren and her daughter-in-law, and she was. Oh, okay. People are calling. This is Nathan. You're on the air.
Hey, buddy. Been trying to get your attention. Someone has some new information on the Florida thing.
On the Florida shooting, the guy that's apparently shooting people at random there. Okay, what's that?
Yeah. Well, check out Discord because he's in the area. So.
Oh,
that's all I was
okay.
trying to get your
There's
attention
someone
for.
in the area. Okay, well, I don't see anybody, so I'm looking at Discord right now. Who are you talking
I don't
about?
want to say it. He's a mod.
Who? John Blaze? Okay. John
I was trying
Blaze?
not to
Is that
say-
what you're
yeah.
talking about?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well,
Just scroll up, you'll see it.
I don't think that's a big deal. Okay. Thanks very much.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
All
See
right.
ya. I don't think it's a big deal for me to say it's John Blaze. It's not even his name. You can call in if you want to tell me what's going on. I don't know. You know, that was the Espada. I don't know that that John Blaze cares or wants to call in and give a comment about it. If he does, though, he can call in. I'll leave the phone open and I'll show what's going on. He just wanted to say, that it happened outside of a Scottish Freemason lodge. Okay. That's what he wants to let people know. I'd have to look on the map to verify that for myself. But that's what a local to Tampa, Florida, where there's another, not mass shooting happening, but like a serial killer, allegedly, in a neighborhood in Tampa, Florida. I could cover that too. Let me get back to the victims or victims' families from the Sutherland Springs church shooting. Then I'll tell you some stuff about Devin Kelly and his military background. This is a grandmother here. I told you already. Listen to this.
Grandmother, meanwhile, still in shock after losing 2 of her grandchildren and her daughter-in-law, all victims of the Sutherland Springs shooting. She talked with Stephanie Cerna this afternoon about how their family, while devastated by this tragedy, is still praying for her grandson, who is still fighting for his life.
Emily liked cats. And
Sandy Ward says it was Sunday night when she lost her 7-year-old granddaughter, Emily.
they came down and told us that they were still working on Emily, but it didn't look like she was going to make it. And everybody broke down, and I said, let's keep praying, keep praying. Then she ended up passing away.
Sandy's son, Chris, was not at church during the shooting, but his wife, Joanne, had taken their children, Emily, Brooke, Rihanna, and Ryland. In the moments after the shooting, they found Rihanna, who survived. Ryland had been shot 5 times and was transported to the hospital. 7-year-old Emily was also shot and transported to University Hospital, where she later died. But they could not find Joanne and Brooke. Just before midnight, Sandy got the call that 5-year-old Brooke was killed, and then on Monday, Sandy was told her daughter-in-law, Joanne, was found dead as well.
We found out about 1 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning, that she was, and they said they should have realized it because when they found the body, she was holding Brooke in her arms.
Sandy's granddaughter, Rihanna, said she looked at the shooter in the eye and that when she fell, he must have thought she was dead.
She had looked at the gunman in the eye, and he fired at her, and it knocked her glasses off her face. Not a scratch on her, thank God. She said her mom covered Ryland and Brooke and Emily with her body. You know, it's on top of them. So when we heard that, we pretty well figured Ryland's got 5 gunshot wounds. Emily didn't make it, which means a lot of the bullets had to go through Joanne.
Amazing. That was Stephanie Cerna reporting. Sandy told her that she was not feeling well.
I think I can say stuff about people being crisis actors, sort of, on a live feed at least, where I don't use it in the title or don't use the word hoax. And we're waiting to report on the Northern California shooting. I think the news hasn't broken because if it had, there would be more people tuned in. I'll show you what's on Fox right now, or on NBC. I don't know if I think they adjourned the testimony of Sessions. I was playing that originally on this feed. I don't think there's anything yet from anybody. Yeah, nothing. It's all about Jeff Sessions. 3:33 p.m. Eastern. Sorry about that. So I played you guys some of that. The news on it being a setup or a stage, the Texas church shooter, Devin Kelly, showed promise in military intel, records show. The man who massacred 26 people at a small church in Sutherland Springs on Sunday at one time showed promise as a potential intelligence analyst and began tech school with the 317th Training Squadron. He was a fusion analyst student. Fusion. Through research and assessment, these specialists gauge the impact of the information and distribute their findings to high-level decision makers so we can take timely action to ensure the safety of airmen in our country. To become a fusion analyst, airmen must successfully complete a polygraph test, background investigation, and be eligible to receive top secret clearance. During his training, his career track was changed. Then he was classified as an apprentice in traffic management. It's unclear why his duties were changed. So, and then he got in trouble for assaulting his spouse, assaulting his kid, apparently shooting animals for target practice that he got off Craigslist. There's a story about this, one of the heroes in the story. What's his name? Langendorf. I'll play what his interview looked like. Then I might sign out. Not that many people care, apparently. So, Langendorf, Sutherland Springs. Let's see.
Now was Johnny Langendorf. He was driving past the church when he saw the shooting. And Johnny, can you tell me what happened next?
No, I pulled up to the intersection where the shooting happened, and I saw two men exchanging gunfire, the other being a citizen of the community, and the shooter of the church had taken off, fled in his vehicle, and the other gentleman came and he said we needed to pursue him, that he just shot up the church. And so that's what I did. I just acted and got him off the road. And
okay. All right, Johnny, it sounds like we may be having a little bit of a technical difficulty. I'm going to try to switch mics here. All right, Johnny, so could you tell me again, you said that you heard you saw the two men exchanging gunfire, and then one of the men, someone you recognized, jumped in the car?
No, I didn't know him at all. I didn't recognize him. He just was a member of the community. And whenever he came to my vehicle in distress and with his weapon, he explained very quickly what happened, and he got in the truck, and I knew that it was just time to...
It was time to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, so tell me about that. Tell me about following this guy. Was it high speed? Was he driving normally all over the place? What was it like?
No, sir. He got a little bit of a jump on us, and so we were doing about 95 down 539, going around traffic and everything. And eventually he came to kind of a slowdown, and after that we got within just a few feet of him, and then he got off the road.
How did that happen? Did you guys bump him, or did he lose control by himself?
He just lost control, and then that's whenever I put the vehicle in park, because I was still on the phone with dispatch, and the other gentleman jumped out and had his rifle drawn on him, and he didn't move after that.
Okay, so I understand you guys called police as you were chasing him.
Yes.
Now, did you lead them to that point? Did they meet you there, or?
No, we led them to there. He was headed northbound on 539, and everybody else was headed to the church, for all the officers were responding to the church.
So how long before police arrived at that scene?
From the time we actually stopped, it was about 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes.
And so the neighbor just kept his gun trained on him for that long?
Yes, sir.
All right, was the man moving? Was he injured?
No, I don't know. didn't get close enough. We asked
gin
them to get out
infused
and
with
move,
cucumber.
and
Hendrix
no
is
response.
So what next? What happened once the police arrived?
Just the police arrived and they pushed us back, and then they took care of the rest. I didn't see anything after that.
All right, Johnny, what was going through your mind during this chase? I mean, you're chasing a shooter. You've heard he's just shot up a church in your hometown. What's going through your mind?
Try and get him, to get him apprehended or whatever needed to happen. I mean, it was strictly just acting on what the right thing to do was.
All right. Thank you very much, Johnny Langendorf.
Okay, so Johnny Langendorf, this is what he looked like when he went in, which is kind of like, let me see. Let me switch the thing. Oops. Which is like military, basically, with the skull mask and everything. Apparently, nearly half of the 26 victims of the church shooting had ties to the Air Force. And you remember San Bernardino shooters were all dressed in black, too. The supposed San Bernardino shooters, which I called a false flag, or actually I called it a hoax. They talk about, we saw this guy, the supposed pastor of the church, or the pastor of the church, talking about his adopted daughter being killed with his wife, who read that statement. Talk about drills. Now, this is the weird thing. This is this guy, Langendorf, I believe. Oh, I see. These are the family members of Williford. Let me see if they show him. That's this guy that supposedly shot the guy. He hasn't ever been interviewed. NRA firearms instructor Stephen Williford. Those are his children who are LARPing here. That's what real LARPing is. Live action role play, where you go to a thing. And then this other guy who we just saw interviewed with a toothpick in his mouth. Here he is. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. This is the son of that guy, Williford, in this picture. I don't know which one he is. This is Johnny Langendorf, who's the guy that we saw with the toothpick in his mouth. So that's him. And then that's him there. So it raises question. There he is here too. Sort of a hipster. Not exactly like the same character he plays on TV. This is from annerfan.blogspot.co.uk. They do a lot of these false flag or hoax things. Okay, I can see what's going on in the news. I might just drop out because nothing's going on on the mainstream thing. Nobody's really tuning in to look at this in particular. So it doesn't seem like people are that interested in it. This shooting that took 5 lives apparently up in Northern California. I was streaming the thing about Sessions earlier. So that's pretty much what I have for you. I think I'm going to tune out. And then I'll think about coming back live more around the regular time. I have to get my news together now. So I'm going to tune out, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see if I come back with my main show. This show is going to be deleted, so you can find it on Twitch, twitch.tv/lifttheveil411. I can prove to you that Doshi's here. Oh, I have a little food on my mouth. I can prove to you that Doshi's here. Make sure you tune in for my shows when news breaks, even though we didn't have much news for you on this one. We were watching the Sessions hearing, and then it rolled into this other thing. So that's what I have for you. I'm gonna stop streaming right now. Okay.